guys, what is up? Fluffy Ninja from FN13 Productions, and I don't know, I guess this is kind of a review video. I don't know, I've been talking with Fala from Four Horsemen, and him and I are talking about bringing him onto the YouTube channel about, so he can do gear reviews. Like, he did a review on the machine gear, he did a review on a couple other things. And like he's done quite a few of them on Facebook, and I was like, you know what, I'd really like your videos on my YouTube channel. I think, you know, the more exposure they can get, the better, honestly. Just because I want to share information about paintball with the rest of the world. I don't care if you're here for video games or, you know, whatever else. If you're here just to see the information that I have, that's awesome, because he has a lot of it. So I want to kind of work with him on that to help share the information that he has, and he's taken a lot of tips that I've given him. I hope, you know, like, hey, you know, make sure you do this, or make sure you do this, make sure the lighting is okay, and stuff like that. Like, right now, my lighting isn't great. I did move my desk around a little bit, so I have a solid background behind me. You can still kind of see my gun rack with my wooden sword over there. But that's not a big deal. But so gear reviews. One thing that I will always use, especially now, is the G3 regulator from Guerrilla Air. You basically hear it in every weekend loadout. Hey, this is my tank with my Guerrilla Air G3 reg set to whatever pressure. I am sponsored by Guerrilla Air through Warp Sports, and they have been nothing but awesome to me. Every Fort Knox game that I go to, they give me a big box of stuff from their like accessory line, I guess you would call it. They are coming out with t-shirts and stuff like that. I'm not sure if they're gonna give me those or not. So hopefully making this video kind of persuades them to do that. So make sure that people from Guerrilla Air see this. You know, like, they give me the towels and some keychains and whatever else, which is so awesome. People love free stuff. Free stuff! And, you know, I honestly love working with them. I really do. They're a great company, and they help me out whenever I need it. I've given a couple of their tanks away, and they're super supportive about that. So, you know, I definitely want to make a video just kind of just focusing on one of their products, and this is the Guerrilla Air G3 rig. This is my favorite regulator by far that I've ever used. I do not like Ninja regulators. Their tanks are great. Don't like the regulators. That's personal preference. I'm not telling you to, you know, dump on Ninja paintball. I'm telling you that, in my experience, using Guerrilla Air regulators, and even their tanks, are fine. I'm sure, or I know a lot of my guys that play tournaments, and a lot of my friends that play tournaments, absolutely stand by their Ninja regulators, say that they're more consistent, which I'm not sure how you really measure that. I'm sure, you know, just the feel of the gun doesn't really do it. But Guerrilla Air did something kind of ingenious with the new regulator. Yeah, they still have this giant gauge on here. I've got one on my Ninja tank that is a micro gauge, just because I prefer smaller gauges. They are bringing micro gauges to the G3 reg, just not as fast as I'd like them to. But one of the things that I don't like about Ninja regulators is the bonnet, especially for the Pro. The bonnet is just held in by set screws, and if I had mine here, you would kind of see what would happen if I took it apart. It is grinded all the way around the top of the regulator, just from the bonnet being moved and being reset in place. It just doesn't hold that well. I'm sure a lot of people will fight me to the death on that, and that's absolutely fine. But this is about Guerrilla Air. So what Guerrilla Air did is they, one, made it brass. They made their entire thread assembly here brass. So it's going to be a lot easier for rental players and beginner players who don't have an on-off ASA to get it off of their gun. That is honestly probably the hardest part about having a regular gun. But this tool is kind of special. I'm not sure if you can see that, camera focused. There's a hole in this Allen key. And the reason is because in the top of this regulator, if that'll focus, light is really bright, that is a Allen key hole. But unfortunately there's a pin there, and you don't want to depress the pin with an Allen key. So they made an Allen key with a hole in it, and there you go. This whole assembly comes off. This is actually how you adjust the regulator. So it is fully adjustable. So what you want is, look at all those threads that are in there. So your tank is not going to loosen and explode on you. So what you can see here, maybe if I put it on the camera, what you can see here is there are little lines, of course, so that way if this ever does come unscrewed, it depressurizes itself right away. There's your O-ring right there to make sure that it seals. O-ring for your tank, of course. And you notice that little pin assembly all falls out. So this is just a piece of brass with threads on it. That's it. And 2 O-rings. Yep, rolling around. Put it on the mat. Here is your pin and spring assembly. Okay, and that's literally just what lets air out of your tank. That's it. And there's like a little sealing gasket on there, what have you. And of course, here's your whole, I don't know, is it called a valve assembly, I want to say. Again, just a couple of O-rings, piece of brass, really nice machining, it really is, super great. And then of course, what sets the pressure on your, on your Guerrilla Air tank in your G3 reg, is this spring. It's just a spring. It's not a shim stack anymore. It's just a spring, and that's honestly a great way to do it. So, of course, that's it. That's all your internals. And then if you want to set your regulator, or set your regulator to where your how I do it, I set my gauge facing up, my fill nipple facing down, and that's it. So what you would do, of course, this is all degas. Don't do this while there's air in it. So if your tank was, or if your gauge was over here, this thing is hexed all the way around. So you would take it out, and you wouldn't even have to take it out all the way. You would take it loose, put it here, wait until you find a spot, set it, and there you go. You're set with your gauge up and your fill nipple down, or however you really wanted it. It's really up to you. So, and putting it back together is honestly super simple. Take your spring, put it in there, your little valve, put it in there, pin assembly, put that in there, and then your top brass piece, and line it up and screw it down. So I don't think I have it set right, but so let's say all of them are set to standard output pressure, which I think is like 700 to 800 psi, I think. So we're gonna put it on my GI Sports bottle. Okay. So that's tightened down as tight as I can get it. I don't want to go any further. I don't want to break my bottle. And I'll grab my LV1, which is conveniently laying on my bed, and screw the bottle into the ASA. Okay, so that's completely off, right? I wanted my fill nipple facing down and my gauge facing up. So changing that, honestly, is super simple. Unscrew your bottle. Again, make sure there's no air in here. Let's not be stupid. Take your tool. I'm not sure if they're selling these yet, but they are really cool to have. They sent me one just so I could kind of show how they work. And then, alright, so it was facing like this. Pop it. No. This will be getting screwed just a little bit more. Okay. Pop it out. Rotate. Set back down. Tighten this all the way down. So we don't want any leaks or for our tank to explode. That's always bad news. Of course, throw it on your gun. And look at that. It's absolutely perfect. That's exactly how I like it. Yes, Guerrilla Air regs, because they are so short, it may occasionally hit the back of your gun. You can either get a separate micro gauge, or Guerrilla Air, because they're awesome, make a regulator extender. I have one somewhere. I have no idea what happened to it. I think somebody took it from me, which is absolutely fine, because I can probably get another one. So that is the Guerrilla Air G3 reg. Of course, it's got 2 sunk-in burst discs, which is great, because burst discs are just annoying when they're all the way out. And again, you don't need a wrench. You can just use an Allen key, not this one. Same thing with the fill nipple. Instead of marring the shit out of it with a wrench trying to get it off and possibly crashing into your tank and giving it a nice big scratch, take an Allen key, stick it in there. Again, not this one. It would have been great if they had made it universal, but they didn't. So that is the Guerrilla Air G3 reg. Honestly, 10 out of 10 would always put on a tank. It is on all of my tanks. So this is the only regulator that I will ever use, is a Guerrilla Air G3 reg. Or if they come out with a newer one, maybe that one. So maybe they'll come out with the G4 Extravaganza. I have no idea. But that is the Guerrilla Air G3 reg. Thank you guys very much for watching. Please focus. 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 It's not going to focus. So thank you guys very much for watching. I hope you found this informative. I hope that, you give Guerrilla Air a try, because they're one of the last companies in America that, all their products are made right here. They're like 2 hours away from me, and I live in Illinois. They're in Indiana. I want to say Fort Wayne, Indiana. I think right down the street from Tittman. I think. But I get to see them all the time at the Fort Knox events. They come in to Warp Sports, God knows how many times, just to drop off parts instead of shipping them, which is cool. So, honestly, they're great guys. Justin has been just huge supportive. Gio I've only met, I think, twice. I showed him my T15, and he was like, "That's awesome," and then he walked away. Or he was like, "I put that together," and then he walked away, and I was like, "I'm sure you did." They're a small company, so they were just acquired, or Tiberius just acquired Guerrilla Air some other way around, and now they're a completely different name. I'm going to keep calling them Guerrilla Air. So thank you guys again for watching. Thank you guys very much for all the support, and support the little guy. So thanks again, and I will see you in the next video.